at the family BB. Sister mocked my husband's job weeks later. She deeply regretted it after discovering the truth about his secret investments. She thought he was just a janitor, but he was actually her new landlord. I stood by the grill, the smell of charcoal and burgers filling the backyard, but I couldn't enjoy it because my sister Tiffany was doing what she does best. She was performing. Tiffany sat on a lawn chair holding a glass of expensive wine like it was a scepter. She looked at my husband, Jack, who was wearing his work boots and a faded t-shirt. Jack had just come from a double shift. He looked tired. His fingernails had a bit of grease under them that he hadn't quite scrubbed off yet. "So, Jack," Tiffany said, her voice dripping with that fake sugary sweetness I've grown to hate, "are you still, fixing pipes or whatever it is you people do in the basements of City Hall?" The backyard went quiet. My parents looked at their plates. My brother Mark let out a small, uncomfortable chuckle. Jack didn't even flinch. He just flipped a burger and gave her a polite smile. "It's specialized sanitation maintenance, Tiffany," he said quietly. "Someone has to keep the city running." Tiffany laughed. It was a sharp, jagged sound that cut through the afternoon air. "Right, specialized," she sneered, looking around at the rest of the family for approval. "I just think it's so brave to be okay with being invisible. I mean, my husband just closed a $5 million tech merger. I can't imagine coming home smelling like a sewer every day." I felt the heat rise in my chest, not from the grill, from the pure, unadulterated disrespect. "Tiffany, that's enough," I said, my voice trembling. "Oh, don't be so sensitive, Claire," she said, waving a hand dismissively. "I'm just saying, we all make choices. Some of us choose the penthouse, and some of us choose the crawl space." Jack looked at me and winked. It was a don't worry about it wink. But I was worried, because what Tiffany didn't know was that Jack's blue-collar job came with a very specific set of keys, and those keys opened doors she didn't even know existed. I thought that was the worst part of the day, but I was wrong, because what happened when we got home that evening changed the way I looked at my husband forever. We walked into our modest two-bedroom bungalow. Jack sat on the edge of the bed and sighed, pulling off those heavy boots. "She's a piece of work, isn't she?" he muttered. "I'm so sorry, Jack. I should have defended you more." "Claire," he said, looking up at me. His eyes weren't tired anymore. They were focused, sharp. "I don't care about Tiffany's wine or her husband's tech mergers." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small, encrypted black tablet. "I work for the city's infrastructure department, yes," he said. "But the City Hall basement isn't just where the pipes are. It's where the fiber optics are. It's where the server cooling systems for the entire financial district are managed." He turned the screen toward me. I saw a list of commercial properties, dozens of them. "What is this, Jack?" "My dirty job gives me access to information about zoning, upcoming city developments, and distressed commercial debt before it ever hits the news," he whispered. "I've been buying up the basements, Claire." Literally. I stared at the screen. He didn't own the penthouses. He owned the ground they sat on. But that wasn't the real secret. I looked at the very last entry on his list. It was a corporate office building on Fifth Avenue. The building where Tiffany's husband, Brian, ran his tech firm. "Jack, is this what I think it is?" "The building is in foreclosure," Jack said. "And I just bought the deed to my holding company this morning." My jaw dropped. My invisible husband was currently Tiffany's landlord. But he told me to keep it quiet. "Not yet," he said. "Let her enjoy her wine for a few more weeks." I thought that was the end of the mystery, but it wasn't. 2 weeks later, the tone of our family group chat shifted. Tiffany wasn't posting photos of her vacations anymore. She was posting about unprofessional management and corporate bullying. It turned out that the new owner of Brian's building was demanding an immediate audit of all tenants, and Brian's $5 million merger, it was built on a foundation of unpaid rent and creative accounting. I watched as the drama unfolded from the sidelines. I watched Tiffany's social media go from luxury life to legal struggles. But the breaking point came on a Tuesday morning. My phone rang. It was Tiffany. She was hysterical. "Blair, you have to talk to Jack, please." "What's wrong, Tiff? I thought you were busy with the penthouse life. The building owners, they're locking the doors. Brian's servers are inside. If he can't get to them by noon, the merger is dead. We'll lose everything." I looked at Jack, who was sitting at the kitchen table, calmly drinking a cup of coffee in his work uniform. "Why are you calling me?" I asked. Because we saw the paperwork," she sobbed. "The holding company. It's registered to your home address. Jack owns the building." "How?" He's a janitor." I looked at Jack. He put down his coffee and held out his hand for the phone. I gave it to him. "Hello, Tiffany," Jack said. His voice was steady, cold, professional. "Jack, please, just let Brian in. We can pay the back rent. We just need time." "Choices, Tiffany," Jack said. I could hear her breathing on the other end. "Some of us choose the penthouse, and some of us choose the crawl space." He paused, letting the silence hang in the air. "But the crawl space is where the power lines are, and I just flipped the switch." "Please," she whispered. "We'll be homeless." "You won't be homeless," Jack said, "but you will be moving. I hear there are some very affordable apartments in the basements of City Hall. Maybe Brian can find a job there. I hear they're looking for someone to fix the pipes." He hung up. What happened next shocked everyone in the family. Brian's firm collapsed. The tech merger was a fraud, and the audit Jack triggered exposed everything. Tiffany had to sell her designer bags just to pay the lawyers. And me? I realized that the grease under Jack's fingernails wasn't a sign of failure. It was the mark of a man who knew how to build a world while everyone else was busy looking at the view. And that's when everything changed. I don't go to the family BBCs anymore. Jack and I host our own now, in the backyard of a house Tiffany could never dream of. And the only choice we make is to never let anyone feel invisible. Powerful final ending line. She thought the man man at the grill was just flipping burgers, but she didn't realize he was already roasting her entire future. Arrogance always has a price, and some people have to lose everything before they find their humility. Have you ever been looked down on because of your job, only to have the last laugh? Share your story in the comments. And if you believe that hard work always wins, hit that subscribe button for more.